We will start with problem 1, Flair Company. So the topic class is accounting changes. And if I remember correctly, this is covered by PAS 8. Okay. And then there are two kinds of accounting changes class. Changes in accounting estimate and changes in accounting policy. The focus here in this chapter class would be changes in accounting estimates. And as far as the theory is concerned, class, as far as the theory is concerned, very simple. You will be asked, what is the treatment for changes in accounting estimate? Okay, and it is to be treated prospectively. So the changes will be implemented beginning the current period and or the future periods. You will not touch anything in the previous periods. You will implement the effect of the changes in the year of change. It's important to emphasize that class because, as you should already know by now, the rule for changes in accounting policies is that the changes are to be applied retrospectively, meaning you will apply it even in the previous periods to the point wherein your records will show as if you have always been using that accounting policy. But again, the focus here would still be on the changes in accounting estimates. And between changes in accounting policy class, between problems involving changes in accounting policies and problems involving changes in accounting estimates, we prefer the latter class. We prefer problems involving changes in accounting estimate because it is simpler, because you will only touch the current period and or the subsequent periods. You will not touch the previous periods class. Okay. But will there still be a lot of students who would get the problems on this topic wrong, class? The answer is yes. Okay, but I want to emphasize now that one, if not the most prevalent reason, class, why students get this wrong, it's not because of the difficulty in applying the prospective application class. It would be on your deficiency in other areas of accounting. What do I mean? Almost always, class, problems involving changes in accounting estimates would involve depreciation of your depreciable assets. Almost all problems will revolve around changes in the useful life, changes in the depreciation method. Okay? And the difficulty here is not really on how to implement the change in accounting estimate class. It's your failure to remember the different depreciation methods class. Because we've all grown accustomed to straight line, that any problem not using straight line, we will no longer be able to answer. Okay, so if the problem tells you to use sum of the year's digits from straight line, we have a problem. Okay, we no longer know how to use SYD. We don't even know how to determine the denominator for our fractions, even though that thing is not even an accounting issue. If you're told to use double declining balance method, you also do not know how to use double declining. And even if you know what to do in double declining class, you would sometimes forget that under the double declining balance method, the residual value will be ignored. You will always remember that your depreciable cost would be the cost minus the residual value. You forget that if you're using the double declining balance method, you will ignore the residual value. Again, those issues are not primarily caused by PAS 8 or by changes in accounting estimates. So many students would get these topics wrong, class, this topic wrong, because of their failure to integrate their past learnings. Okay. And the second reason, class, would be students are simply careless. A lot of your errors here will come from carelessness, which I will try to point out as we answer the problems. So problem 10-1, Flair Company. The question here is, what is the accumulated depreciation on December 31, 2019? The problem here involves a depreciable asset involving a machine that was acquired on January 1, 2016. By the way, class, another point of emphasis here would always be your ability to determine whether a particular change is a change in accounting estimate or a change in accounting policy. So expect theory questions, class, wherein you will be asked which of the following is a change in accounting estimate, which of the following is a change in accounting policy. Okay? If you just go over past 8 class, you're given there with various examples of changes in accounting policies and changes in accounting estimates. Out of all the examples, class, students would get confused with change in depreciation method, class. Okay, they would think it's a method, so it must be related to an accounting policy. Okay, but that's incorrect. A change in depreciation method, class, is still a change in estimate because it's a method of estimating your depreciation charges, class. So if there's one thing I want you to remember, class, in determining whether a particular change is a change in accounting estimate or a change in accounting policy, let it be the classification of your change in depreciation method. Of course, if we talk about depreciation method, the same rule will apply if we're talking about amortization method for your intangible assets, depletion method for your wasting assets. Okay, so again, I just want to remind you, changes in depreciation methods are not changes in accounting policies, but they are changes in accounting estimates. But of course, if you're unsure, class, what does the standard say? If you are uncertain whether a certain change is a change in accounting estimate or a change in accounting policy, what will be the treatment? Treat it as a change in estimate, class. Okay, and I'm not just making that rule up. That's stated in the standard, class. So going back, the machine was purchased on January 1, 2016. It is to be depreciated by the straight line using an estimated life of 8 years with no residual value. On January 1, 2019, this is the year of change, class. The entity determined that the machine had a useful life of 6 years from the date of acquisition with a residual value of 240,000. Okay? So you're asked, how much is your accumulated depreciation? Because I hope everyone knows how to get accumulated depreciation, class. It's just the accumulation of your depreciation. So the main challenge really here is on the it's not on the computation of your accumulated depreciation, but on the computation of your depreciation expense. Let's start with 2016, class. Okay, or any year for that matter, since if we're using straight line, your annual depreciation would be equal. Okay, what were the conditions? What were the estimates in 2016, class? The useful life. What was the estimated useful life? 8 years. And what was the estimated residual value? 0. Okay. So if the purchase price or the acquisition cost is 2,640 and the residual value is 0, how much is your depreciable cost? Depreciable cost still 2,640. Class, if your challenge is still on the computation of depreciation expense, class, then you will really find this topic difficult. If by now you are still not confident on how to compute for depreciation, then you really have a lot of problems. Okay? Always determine your depreciable cost. Okay? It's the original cost or the initial carrying amount minus the residual value. Here, the residual value is 0. And what do you do? If you're using straight line, simply divide it by the number of years. How much is 2,640 divided by 8? How much? 330,000. So what does that mean? Every year for 8 years, you will recognize a depreciation expense of 330,000. Okay? And that's what you did, class. From 2016 to 2018, for 3 years, you recognize depreciation expense of 330,000. Now, before focusing on the specifics on this problem class, what if we used 6 years class from the very beginning? What if we had an estimated residual value of 240? How much would have been the annual depreciation class? So go back. How much was the initial carrying amount? 2,640,000. Deduct what? Deduct the residual value of 240. That means the depreciable cost would be 2,400,000. And then this time divide it by 6. So if from the very beginning it was estimated to have a useful life of 6 years and residual value of 240, our annual depreciation would have been 400,000 per year. Okay? And then what do we have here? For how many years have we used the asset? 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. So for 4 years. 4 times 400,000, how much will that give you? 1,600,000. And that would have been your answer if you did not study at all. Okay, because what did we say? What's the treatment for changes in accounting estimate? Apply the change prospectively, beginning in the year of change. So you will be using, how did we get the 400? By using 6 years and 240 from the very beginning. Okay, but when was the year of change, class? It was in 2019. So if the year of change is in 2019, then apply the changes beginning that year. Okay, so what does that mean? Always update, class. Always update on the year of change. Before you apply the changes, class, determine the carrying amount at the start of the year of change. Okay, when was the start of the year of change? January 1, 2019. So what do I want you to do? Determine the carrying amount as of January 1, 2019. Or as you should know, the balance on January 1, 2019 will just be the same as the balance on December 31, 2018. So what do I mean by update, class? Use the old estimates, class, up to December 31, 2018. You follow? Okay, and we have already computed how much would be the annual depreciation using the old estimates, class. How much was the annual depreciation? 330. And we will be using that one for 2016, 17, and 18. So if you are asked how much was the depreciation expense in 2016, answer is 330. How much is the depreciation expense in 2017? Answer is 330. Another question, how much is the accumulated depreciation by the end of 2017? 660. Okay. Next question, how much is the depreciation expense in 2018? Still 330. Another question, how much is the accumulated depreciation by the end of 2018? 990. But all those are not in the choices because what's the question? The accumulated depreciation by the end of 2019. What have we computed last? December 31, 2018. How do we arrive at the 2019 accumulated depreciation, class, if we already have the 2018 accumulated depreciation? Just add the depreciation expense for 2019. Does that mean that the depreciation expense in 2019 was 400,000? The answer is no, class. How did we get the 400,000? It was as if we were using the 6 years and the 240 from the very beginning. But is that what we are supposed to do? No. Apply the 6 years and the 240 beginning in 2019. And what did I tell you to do? Update it first, class. And after updating, class, how much was the accumulated depreciation, class? 990. So if your accumulated depreciation is 990, class, and the original carrying amount or the initial carrying amount was 2,640,000, how much was its carrying amount at the end of 2018? 1,650. That's 2,640 minus 990. That's 1,650. Okay, so what do we call the 1,650? It's the net book value or the carrying amount by December 31, 2018. What is the relevance of that amount, class? That will now be the basis of your application of the 6 years and the 240. So in computing for the annual depreciation in 2019, you will now be deducting 240. How much was 1650 minus 240, class? 1650 minus 240 is 1,410,000. And how do we call the 1,410,000? That would be your depreciable cost. Okay? 1,400,000. How much is our depreciable cost, class? Okay. Now that will be our depreciable cost. Now what do we do? Please try dividing it by 1 million, dividing 1,410,000 by 6, class. Just try it. 1,410,000 divided by 6. Is it a closed amount? No. So that's another way of knowing that it is wrong. But why is dividing it by 6 wrong, class? Because what did the problem say? The 6 years was from the date of acquisition. So by 2019, how much is left? 3 years, class. And this is where your carelessness will come in, class. As what I've told you, one of the biggest reasons that you would get these problems wrong would be because of your carelessness. What do I mean? You would simply divide it by 6 instead of determining the remaining useful life. Now, you would ask the question, sir, why would students get it wrong? The problem is very obvious. 6 years from the date of acquisition. How can a student get that wrong, sir? That just does not make sense. Have you thought of that, class? It's because there are some problems, class, wherein it will tell you that it has a remaining useful life of 6 years. So if you do that, class, then of course, in the year of change, you will be dividing it by 6. And it's not an issue, class, because in most of the problems here, the useful life that is given to you would always be the useful life from the date of acquisition. What is now my worry, class? Let's say, for example, I think there's one problem here. So here, problem 10-9, class. London Company. Just to point out, class, why would students get it wrong? Okay, right now you might think, I will not get that wrong, sir. It's very obvious. Are you there, class? Okay, third paragraph. During January 2019, the entity realized that technological advancements had made the computers virtually obsolete and that they would have to be replaced. The management changed the remaining useful life of the computer to 2 years. So what does this mean? From the year of change, the remaining useful life is now only 2 years instead of 3, class. Okay, when was it acquired? 2018. And what was the initial estimate of the useful life? It was 4 years. So after 1 year, it would have only a useful life of 3 years. But it was changed to 2 years. But if you apply, class, if you carelessly applied what you have grown accustomed to in problems 10-1 to 10-8, what was the scenario there? The second useful life is always the adjusted useful life from the date of acquisition. What would you have done? You would have thought, oh, the 2 years is from the date of acquisition. And since 1 year has already lapsed, you would say that the remaining useful life is now just 1 year. Okay? You would have committed that mistake if you have grown careless and you have just applied what was used in the previous problems. But again, what am I trying to tell you now? The new useful life class A can be given in two ways. Number one, you can be given outright the remaining useful life after the change class. Or you could be given the useful life, the adjusted estimated useful life from the date of acquisition. And if that's the case, what do you do? Do not forget to deduct the years that has already lapsed class, which is what we will be doing in problem 10-1. Okay, so in this problem, it's wrong to divide 1,410,000 by 6. You should be dividing it by how many years, class? 3 years. How much is 1,410,000? Was it 1,410,000? Again, help me here. 2,640 minus 990, class. 1,650 minus 240. 1,410. And then divided by 3. How much will that give you? 470. 470. And what do we call the 470, class? Depreciation expense in 2019. Okay, and what do? You add 470 with the previous accumulated depreciation, class. 990 plus 470, class. 1,460,000, and that will be your answer. Now, follow-up question. How much would be the carrying amount of the asset, class, by the end of December 31, 2019? How much was the depreciable cost again, class? 1,410,000. Minus the depreciation expense this year of 470. How much is 1,410 minus 470, class? 940. But that will be wrong. Why will that be wrong? Okay, the 1,410,000 excluded the residual value. So what then is the safest way for you to solve for the book value, class? Go back to the original carrying amount and then deduct the accumulated depreciation. How much was the initial carrying amount, class? 2,640. And how much is our accumulated depreciation? 1,460,000. How much is 2,640 minus 1,460, class? 1,180,000. So that would be your carrying amount by the end of 2019. Okay, again, just apply. This is what I always tell students. For these kind of problems, just follow instructions, class. Just follow what the problem is telling you. That's why the only reason you'll get this wrong, class, it's number one, you're careless. Number two, you don't know how to compute for depreciation, class. And again, that's not supposed to be taught in this topic. Let's proceed to problem 10-2, Roma Company. Roma Company purchased equipment for 4 million. The equipment has a useful life of 10 years and a residual value of 400,000. On January 1, 2019, the entity determined that the useful life of the equipment was 12 years from the date of acquisition. And the residual value was 480. Okay? Because if we are to narrow down everything I want you to do, class, what's the very first thing I want you to do? Update it, class, at the start of the year of change. When is the year of change? 2019. And when I say update, determine the carrying amount at the start of 2019. So what do? Compute for the carrying amount by December 31, 2018. And you accomplish that by computing for the depreciation expense from 2015 to 2018. Okay? Okay, if you do not update it, class, if the amount that you get after updating it is wrong, class, then definitely your answer will be wrong. And the only reason you would get the carrying amount wrong, class, is if you do not know how to solve for depreciation. Okay, let's do that. How much was the cost, class, or the initial carrying amount? 4 million. Do we have a residual value? Yes, 400. So the depreciable cost would be 3,600,000. And this is to be depreciated over 10 years. Thus, we will no longer try to divide it by 12 from the very beginning, class, using, because there is no scenario that you will be doing that. Okay? I just demonstrated that to you in the first problem to demonstrate the application of prospective application of your accounting changes. Again, there is no scenario wherein you will be going back from the very beginning to apply the changes in your depreciation method. So that means every year from 2015 to 2018, our annual depreciation would be 3,600,000 divided by 10. Annually, that will be how much? 360. So again, the annual depreciation from 2015 to 2018 is 360. So how much would be the accumulated depreciation from 2015 to 2018? How many years is that? 4 years. Another area wherein you can be careless, class. How many years is 2015 and to 2018? You would say 3. And then you would get it wrong na. You would say, sir, it's not a problem because if I do that mistake, then my answer would not appear in the choices. But not all your exams have choices. Okay? So how many years should we be depreciating the asset before the year of change? 4 years. So 360 times 4, how much? How much? 1,440,000. Okay? And then deduct that from not the 3,600,000 but from the 4 million. So 4 million minus, how much was it? 1,440. 4 million minus 1,440 will give you 2,560,000. How do we call the 2,560,000? Carrying amount by December 31, 2018. Okay, and it's important to get that one because that will now be the amount that will be subjected to the adjusted useful life. Did we have a change in depreciation method? No, we just have a change in useful life and change in residual value. Okay, how much again was it, class? 2,560. And we already have the answer in the first question because the December 31 balance would also be the January 1 balance. So the answer there in the first question is 2,560,000. Okay. Then what's the next question? Depreciation of the equipment for 2019. Okay. So what do we do? The 2,560,000, the carrying amount here will now be our depreciable. No, will be our carrying amount. Deduct what? 480 to get your depreciable cost moving forward. So 2,560 minus 480 is 2,080,000. And then divide 2,080,000 by 12, class. Just give me the figure. Is it a good number? 2,080,000 divided by 12. So again, you should not commit that mistake. Why is it wrong to divide 2,080,000 by 12? Because the remaining useful life by 2019 is not 12. Because the 12 is the adjusted estimated useful life from the date of acquisition. So by 2019, its estimated useful life using the adjusted estimate, original estimate of its life will now be 8 years. How much is 2,080,000 divided by 9, class? Still not a good number. Am I correct? So again, you should also know that that will be wrong. Okay, the correct remaining life by 2019 would be 8 years. How much is 2,080,000 divided by 8? 260,000, which will already give you your answer, which is letter B. So I hope you will agree with me that there's nothing difficult with this topic. Now, what do you call 260 deducted from 2,560, class? Yeah, that's what I wanted you to say, but that's incorrect. Or that's correct. 2560, yeah, that's correct. 2560 minus 260 would be 2,300,000, and that would be the carrying amount. Supposedly, what I should have said was, how much is 2,080,000 minus 260? How much is 2,080,000 minus 260? 1,820. Okay, class, this is what will happen, man. You find this topic very easy. You're overconfident, class. And then as you answered it, class, what you've written in your test paper was the depreciable cost was 2,080,000. And then there's another question. How much is the carrying amount by December 31, 2019? Ordinarily, class, your depreciable cost minus your current year's depreciation expense would already be your carrying amount. That would be true if residual value is 0. Now, you're overconfident. You're trying to answer this problem as fast as you can. So what did you do? You use the 2,080,000 because that's the amount you've written in your test paper, because that's the amount that is relevant in your computation for depreciation expense. Okay, you would say, I do not need the 2,560 because that's not the amount that I will be dividing. What I need is the 2,080,000. So that is the amount that you will write in your test paper. And since you did not write 2,560, then the 2,560 will already be forgotten. So what you do is 2,080,000 minus your 260. You would think that the carrying amount after 2019 would be 1,820,000, but that's wrong. Okay, it should be 2,560 minus 260 to give you 2,300,000. Okay, again, your biggest enemy here, class, would be yourself, class. If you're being too careless, or if you have not endeavored to learn how to compute for depreciation. And if you have those two problems, class, these subjects should not be blamed, class. If you have problems with computing depreciation, this is not the subject to blame. If you are careless, class, definitely, I have nothing to do with that, class. Okay, proceed to problem 10-3. Question is, what is the depreciation for 2019? What's the scenario here? A machine was purchased on January 1, 2016 for 3 million. At the date of acquisition, the machine had a life of 6 years. Okay, and then with no residual value, the machine is being depreciated on a straight line basis. On January 1, 2019, the entity determined that the machine had a useful life of 5 years from the date of acquisition. Because I hope you now understand what I was trying to say, class ba? In all the problems, class, the new useful life is always given as of the date of acquisition. By the time you reach problem 10-9, then you would already be careless. You would think, the useful life given here is the useful life from the very beginning. Okay? Always be ready for both scenarios, class. If the new useful life given is as of the date of acquisition, then do not forget to take into account the years that has already passed. If the remaining useful life is the remaining useful life at the year of change, then that will already be your divisor. Be ready for both scenarios. So what changed here? The useful life and the residual value. So again, if you'll be asked, what's the first step? What's the first step? Update, class. Meaning, determine the carrying amount at the start of the year of change. So compute for the carrying amount as of January 1, 2019. And how do you do that? By computing for the depreciation from 2016 to end of 2018. So compute for the annual depreciation at the start, class. 3 million, is that our depreciable cost already? Yes, because the residual value is 0. And how much was the initial estimated useful life? 6. So 3 million divided by 6, 500,000 annual depreciation. And for how many years were we depreciating the asset by 500,000? 16, 17, and 18. So total depreciation expense from 2016 to 2018 is 1,500,000. So that means the carrying amount is also 1,500,000. But again, I do not want you to think that accumulated depreciation is equal to carrying amount. How do you get carrying amount? The original cost minus the accumulated depreciation, or the initial carrying amount minus the accumulated depreciation. It just so happens we are at the midlife of the asset without any residual value. If that's the case, accumulated depreciation will be the same as the carrying amount. And have we done the first step? Yes, which is to update the carrying amount. It is now at 1,500,000. And it is now the 1,500,000 that we will be using as the basis for our subsequent computations class. So what changed? Instead of 0 residual value, what do we now have? 100,000. So our depreciable cost will now be 1,400,000. And to be depreciated how many years? Not by 5 class. How much is 1,400,000 divided by 5? That's 280. That's not among the choices. Is it 280? Yes. So instead of 5, it should not be 5. It should just be 2 years class. Okay. It has an adjusted initial estimate of 5 years, and 3 years have already lapsed. So the remaining useful life would be 2 years. Okay. So 5 minus 3 is 2. 1,400,000 divided by 2 is 700. So your depreciation expense would be 700,000. Next question, how much is the carrying amount by the end of 2019? How much is the carrying amount by the end of 2019? If you're careless, your answer would be 700 also, because what did you do? You just remember the 1,400,000, you deduct the 700,000, you will have a balance of 700. That would be wrong. It's not the 1,400,000, but the 1,500,000. Okay, again, class, just follow instructions, class. Follow what the problem is telling you. Okay, 10-4, same question. Is it? Yes. So how is this different from the previous problem? Okay, from double declining to, okay. Now we have a change in depreciation method. Now, this is one of the reasons, class, why you would forget the important things to remember for double declining. Okay, when you encounter a problem involving double declining, class, the problem will give you a residual value of 0. So you would think, there's nothing to remember if it's double declining. So again, what's the first thing I want you to do? Update the carrying amount as of the year of change, which we need not do because it was already given. The machine was depreciated by the... So you will never learn how to solve for depreciation using double declining, class. Okay, the first time we've used double declining, you're already given with the carrying amount. Okay, so the first step is already done for us. We have updated the carrying amount, which is 1,536,000. And what are the changes, class? Is there a change in residual value? Is there a change in residual value, class? The only change is from double declining to straight line. And it cannot get easier than that, class. Is there a change in useful life? No. How many years has it been depreciated, class? 2017, 2018, just 2 years, class. So that means for 2019, its remaining useful life is 8 years. And with that, class, you have everything you need. You just divide 1,536,000 by 8. How much is 1,536,000 by 8, class? 192,000. So can we just try to verify, class, if 1,536,000 is correct? Class, if it's 10 years, what do you do? If you're using the declining balance method, class, you get the depreciation rate. Okay, and how do you get the depreciation rate? 1 divided by the useful life. And how much is its useful life? 10 years. So 1 divided by 10 is 10%. And since this is double declining, you double that rate. So that means every year, you will recognize depreciation expense of 20%. 20% of what? This is what's important for double declining. 20% of the previous balance. Okay, what's the name, class? What's the name? Double declining balance. So the depreciation rate here would be based on the previous balance. If you do not get what I'm saying, what am I trying to avoid? How much is 20% of 2,400,000 class? 480. So I do not want you to think that under double declining balance method, every year, it will be 480. Under double declining balance method, the amount will be different. The rate will be the same, the amount will be different because it is based on a declining balance class. Hence the name class. I hope you get why the procedure is this, based on its name class. So for the first year, 2,400,000 times 20%, you would get 480. Deduct 480 from 24. How much will you get? 1,920,000. What's the importance of the 1,920,000? That will now be the basis for the depreciation expense in 2018. So you multiply 1,920,000 by 20%. How much is 20% of 1,920? 384. So deduct 384 from 1,920. Is it 1,536? Okay. So with that class, I hope you can answer this problem correctly even if 1,536 is not given class. In our exam, do we expect 1,536 to be given? No. Okay, so you should know how to compute for a 1,536. We're up to 6 class, correct? Let's answer 10-5. On January 1, 2018, Kevin Company purchased a machine for $2,750,000. The machine was depreciated using the sum of years digits method based on a useful life of 10 years with no residual value. On January 1, 2019, the entity changed to straight line method. Okay? What's the change, class? Only the method? Plus, what kind of problem do we want? We want the problem nga, there's a change in useful life, there's a change in residual value, and there's a change in depreciation method. We do not like this problem, class, okay? It's a waste of our time. The only thing changed here is the method, class. Okay, but how is this different from problem 10-4, class? The carrying amount at the start of the year of change is not given. So we will have to do that, class. So, what do you need if you're using SYD? You need fractions. And the important here is the denominator. And how do you get the denominator? By adding the individual lives of the asset. So the useful life here is 10. So add 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 class. 55. And of course, you can do that manually, class. But you're expected to know the formula already, class, which is n times quantity n plus 1 divided by 2. And it pays to remember that formula, class. Let's update it first. Because the problem is even making it easy for you, class, okay? It only lets you depreciate it for 1 year lang. Okay, so what's the denominator? The denominator would be 55, which is the sum of 10, 9, 8 down to 1. Then your numerator, if it's the first year, would be the remaining useful life for that year, which is 10. If you're in the second year, what will be your numerator? 9. If you're in the third year, what will be your numerator? 8. Okay, so for the first year, which is the only thing we need to do, our fraction would be 10 over 55. And you divide it by 2,750,000. How much is 2,750,000 times 10 over 55 plus? 500,000. And that would be your depreciation expense. Okay. So what do you do? Deduct that from how much was it, class? How much was the depreciation for 2018? 500,000. So 2,750 minus 500, that will give you 2,500,000. 2,250,000. Okay. And that will be our updated carrying amount. And since in 2019 we will now be switching to straight line, what do you do? Use straight line. But you have to be careful. How much was the carrying amount, class? Is it 2,250? Again, the choices does not have 2,225. Okay, do not divide 2,250 by 10. Divide it by 9. How much is 2,250 divided by 9? 250. And that will already be your answer. I just want to give you a reminder, class. What's the most important thing to remember if it's SYD, class? Aside from how to get the fraction, class. No, residual value will still be relevant. Residual value will still be deducted. That's what you have to remember for double declining, class. The one thing I want you to remember for SYD, aside from the formula for getting the fraction, is the rule for in case it is not acquired at the start of the year. Students would often forget that one. If it's acquired on July 1, do not forget that you will have to use the fraction, class, for 12 months, class. So let's say, for example, July 1, 2018. What's the first fraction? Still 10 over 55. You're asked, how much is the depreciation expense for 2018? It should be multiply the depreciable cost by 10 over 55, but multiply it by 6 over 12 because it was acquired on July 1, 2018. The challenge now is in 2019. How do you solve for the depreciation expense in 2019? You will not just use 9 over 55. For the first 6 months, you will be using 10 over 55. For the second 6 months, you will now be using 9 over 55. Because for SYD, you will have to use the fraction for 12 months, class. That's what you have to remember. Because that's one thing students often forget. But again, did the problem give us that kind of illustration? No, because it tries to make it easy for you, class.